Coming up on AgweekTV, some meatpacking plants partially resume operation, but it's a slow process. What do livestock producers do if they have a contract with a packer that has a plant closure?
Will the COVID crisis create some opportunity for some Dakota ranchers?
And planting is running at near record pace in parts of the region. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Michelle Rook. Meat processing capacity continues to shift in the region. This week, pork plants resuming partial operations included Smithfield in Sioux Falls, JBS in Worthington, Minnesota, and Tyson's Waterloo, Iowa facility. Smithfield brought back 250 workers for ground season sausage production. While this is good news for the industry, it will take time to ramp up processing capacity, and it's unclear how many pigs these facilities are accepting for slaughter. Chain speeds will be slower with new guidelines, which require 6 feet between workers on the line. Some plants have also installed plexiglass workstations.
Whether they've had the plexiglass put in place now and everything, that you don't have the number of people on the line is what you would normally have, so that's going to be going slower. So it's going to be a matter of how much slower.
Industry officials estimate those plants may only be able to get back to 2/3 capacity. Anderson says that will continue to back up hogs and require euthanization. Hog composting has begun with the help of the Minnesota Board of Animal Health. A field in southwest Minnesota's Nobles County is being used to compost euthanized overweight market pigs that the JBS plant in Worthington can't process. They can accommodate up to 2,000 head per day. Wood chips control odor and flies, and the composted material will be beneficial to cropland.
It is a very nutrient-rich material that is being incorporated all into one, and then you bring in the wood chips for a carbon source, and it's I think a very high nutrients material that they can then spread onto the field.
The Minnesota Pork Producers Association is working with the state on 3 more composting sites with an estimated 10,000 hogs being euthanized per day in Minnesota. Farmers are having to look at the fine print of contracts they previously struck with meat processors, elevators, and ethanol plants that partially or completely closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Some have exercised the force majeure clause in those contracts, leaving farmers at risk. I talked to an ag lawyer about the legal facts. Attorney and cattle producer Todd Wilkinson says act of God clauses are common in contracts for events like COVID-19.
Most every contract with a packer or a processing plant is going to have a force majeure clause in it.
He says this allows both parties to cancel the contract, but producers have no legal leverage to deliver livestock when packing plants are down and bear all the risk.
So the packer gets out of their contract or the producer gets out of their contract, but we all know who that affects. That's going to affect the producer because the producer needs the shackle space.
Todd Hanton had contracts with Tyson in Dakota City, Nebraska for half the production in his feedlot.
It's been really tough because of some cattle contracts that I had that have been canceled.
Now his lawyer is looking at all the contracts for his operation.
Some of my contracts have the force majeure clause, some do not, and even the one that is canceled right now does not have that.
Hanton says this has never happened on his farm, but is adding to an already stressful year. Shane Odegaard sells hogs to Smithfield in Sioux Falls, which closed April 4th, leaving him holding the bag.
In our operation, we really don't have a written contract, but we have a marketing agreement in our case. And of course, there's kind of an act of God clause there that says, if something happens, the plant can't operate, we're kind of left out.
As a result, producers are reading the fine print on contracts and wondering if they'll fill their lots or barns again. A couple of 6th-generation ranchers on the North Dakota-South Dakota border were about to make a major change in their beef marketing business when the pandemic hit. Mikkel Pates explains how it affected their plans in this week's AgWeek cover story.
I never imagined being able to bring farm-raised beef to this amount and volume and diverse and different consumers.
If they've never had it before, they're never going to want to go back to a grocery store setting to buy hamburger or whatever after they've had good farm home raised.
These Dakota ranchers were getting into direct marketing just as the COVID crisis arose.
COVID has kind of exposed how vulnerable our food supply system kind of is, and it's caused the consumers to start to question what they're buying.
Lacey Block and her boyfriend Drew Smith have a 140-pair cow-calf operation and work in a cash crop farm of about 2,000 acres. About 2 years ago, Lacey started learning about the business of finishing cattle instead of simply taking calves to market. In February, Lacey and her family were getting set to start selling their beef directly to the public, mostly through freezers at small-town convenience stores. But suddenly, everything changed.
Our first retail location opened, and 2 days later, social distancing and stay-at-home recommendations all went into place. And I was like, oh, I made a huge mistake. So then I made a push with the direct sales, and it just blew up.
They started holding pop-up distributions like this one in a Fargo parking lot. The Blocks say customers have been receptive. Aaron Temple picked up 10 pounds of hamburger.
With the beef plants and the dairy production down, we figured we'd help out the local small farms.
We need to do some things to change, and basically it's going to take a lot of people to be able to change it.
So the question is, will there be more direct marketing like this after the COVID crisis? For AgWeek, this is Mikkel Pates in Fargo, North Dakota.
You can read more about it in this week's AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com. Up next on AgweekTV,
we'll hear from a Minnesota egg producer who will tell us how the COVID crisis has scrambled his markets.
Modal's Truck and Trailer Sales builds customized trailers to fit farmers' needs. Whether you're spraying, fertilizing, or planting, we build 28-foot 2-tank trailers all the way up to 48-foot 4-tank trailers and plenty in between, including field-ready drop decks, flatbeds, and enclosed reefer trailers. We have plenty of inventory ready to go at our Wheaton, Minnesota location, but if you don't see what you're looking for at modalsales.com, give us a call and we'll talk about building you the perfect trailer.
When planting season comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. This spring, keep your planters rolling with a user-friendly seed tender from North Star Ag. We have seed tenders for every size operation from Meridian, Unverferth, and J&M. North Star Ag also sells a variety of Valmar spreaders, the leader in air boom delivery. Uptime is crucial. Keep your crew in the field longer with a fuel trailer from Thunder Creek. Visit NorthstarAg.com to see our complete new and used inventory or give us a call.
Your local North Dakota Case IH dealer about the new Speed Tiller high-speed disc.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Make sure your farm equipment is season ready with an uptime inspection from your Titan Machinery service professionals. Titan Machinery's team of Case IH certified technicians has the knowledge and experience to find, correct, and prevent mechanical issues that could shut you down during the season. Your planting and harvest windows are short. For genuine Case IH parts and service, schedule an off-season uptime inspection at Titan Machinery today. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer.
With U.S. meat processing capacity crippled, there's a shortage of beef and pork in some stores. I talked to a meat science expert about the myth that we're running out of meat. She says it's not a production problem, but a food supply chain pinch point.
It's not a supply problem if you relate the supply back to the production of the live animal. We have plenty of those, and the interesting part about what's happened is it's kind of become a domino effect. So the first stages of when everything became shut down is we suddenly realized that the metrics that we always see about the number of meals that we eat outside the home, and those went to zero. And so that entire supply chain that's really dedicated to food service didn't have a home. But the other thing is that plants are set up with lines that are dedicated to producing food service products versus retail products. So that was pinch point number one. Then all of a sudden we started to have the plant associated issues.
The president has an executive order now to reopen the processing plants, but what can we expect in terms of the processing capacity? How long will it take to get things back to normal, or will they ever get back to normal?
Each plant has unique circumstances based on its population of employees, based on the approach that it's taking as it relates to testing, employment practices. Employers have to deal with the very real, possibility of people having issues with childcare, having issues with their family, making sure that they feel safe to come back to work, making sure that sick people don't come to work. So it's a tremendous balancing act.
The idea that we're going to run out of meat, that's not going to happen, is it?
I have a hard time believing that would happen, knowing what is occurring on the other side and knowing the effort and the emphasis that's being put in place to get these plants back running up at capacity.
Market upheavals due to COVID-19 have egg producers scrambling to cut production. Mikkel Pates visited a large family-run egg operation in western Minnesota to see how they're coping with a huge drop in demand.
We ship about 3.5 rows a day, 25,000, 30,000 dozen a day.
Jonah Bear and his family have been in the egg business for decades, and he says COVID-19 has set off a chain of events that will likely lead to a long-term reduction in production.
This isn't a product that we can just stick it in a grain bin and hold it for 6 months or a year and wait for the market to go up. These eggs have to be sold within 3 days of being laid.
Bear and two of his sons have 450,000 laying hens producing 8 to 9 million dozen eggs a year. 70% go into cartons and 30% go into liquid form for food service use.
Those 30% had the doors slammed on them. We don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. All of a sudden, that 30% came and shifted over to the shell market and flooded the market.
Initially, consumers rushed to hoard eggs, and that drove prices up for a couple of weeks. But that quickly dropped back down along with demand.
This is a flat of eggs, and it costs $1.25 to produce.
What are you getting for them these days?
About 30 cents.
Some of those eggs did get dumped. Literally, tankers down the drain.
Bear says that they've cut egg production by about a third by cutting protein in the feed and by cutting time when lights are on. They're also shipping some chickens to slaughter ahead of schedule. Jonah's wife and business partner Alicia says farming is stressful enough without extra pressures like threats to human or animal health. In 2015, nearby relatives had to euthanize a flock because of avian influenza.
That was very stressful. You always want to make sure that the money's coming in and the bills can be paid.
In addition, Bear family members are in the hog business, and Jonah says if more plants close down, some could be euthanizing pigs. Yet they remain optimistic.
This too shall pass. I think there is a future, yes. People got to eat.
So while the COVID crisis created a temporary uptick in prices, the long-term picture is unknown. For AgWeek, this is Mikkel Pates at Lake Park, Minnesota.
Bear says he expects the barn will stay empty until July or August. Ahead on AgweekTV, planting progress is a bright spot in some of the region. And later, good news for sunflower exports.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
Ready for more? The new Fendt 900 Vario is impressive on every level. With groundbreaking features, you'll be ready for everyday challenges now and in the future. New smart connectivity solutions make the Fendt 900 series from Butler Machinery an intelligent choice for your farm. We're also proud to carry the Fendt Ideal, a new combine for a new era of farming. Designed to be automated in operation, the Ideal Combine is already setting industry standards for efficiency and output. Visit butlermachinery.com to schedule a demo at your operation.
Dig, lay, and bury drain tile all in one pass with the Crary Tile Pro Plow. The Crary Tile Pro Plow lays tile up to 7 feet deep with boot sizes of 4 to 12 inches. Advantages of installing drain tile to your field provides increased overall yield, improved soil moisture levels, and controls soil erosion. It pays to tile with a Crary Tile Pro. To locate a dealer near you, visit www.crarytilepro.com.
Be ready for the challenging field conditions you face with the Summers VRT Renegade. With on-the-fly adjustment, including blade angle from 0 to 19 degrees, the VRT Renegade gives you unprecedented flexibility for the field results you want, spring or fall. Go to summersmfg.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about the VRT Renegade and North America's broadest line of tillage equipment from North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing.
Dynaflow is the ultimate high-volume water management pump. Whether you're experiencing flooding, emptying sloughs, transferring ponds, or working on irrigation, the Dynaflow pump works in as little as 18 inches of water and is designed to move 3,000 gallons per minute. The Dynaflow lift pump is the perfect upgrade to your drain tile system. Using line shaft turbine pump technology, these pumps are made to last while operating efficiently. Dynaflow drain tile pumps can move up to 1,500 gallons per minute, up to 3,400 feet away.
Welcome back. Planting in the U.S. and in much of the region is running well ahead of schedule, except states like North Dakota. USDA pegs U.S. corn planting 11% ahead of average, with Minnesota at 76% and Iowa at 78%, which is the first time in 10 years 75% was planted there by May 3rd. U.S. soybean planting was 12% ahead of average. Minnesota was at 35% and Iowa at 46% planted, which is the highest percentage since 1974. And spring wheat seeding is 14% behind nationally, with North Dakota lagging by 18%. Farmers in southeast Minnesota and Iowa are making good planting progress, and some are already done. Warm April weather and dry topsoil allowed fast seeding. An Iowa State University Extension agronomist says the state is way ahead of last year and even the 5-year average. But she says now many could use some rain.
It's pretty amazing how quickly things have changed compared to this time last year. Our big challenges right now are everybody wants rain, which is odd to say or ask for, right? Yeah. And so we're worried about germination.
She says they're also concerned about having enough moisture to activate pre-emerge herbicides. The weather has turned cooler in the region, but what is the precip outlook and how will that impact planting? Here's our agri-weather outlook.
Weather portion of AgWeek now. An interesting weather pattern setting up, when is it not, right? But as we continue to move forward through the height of planting season in the northern plains, wrap it up in the upper Midwest and Corn Belt, two things are going on. Cold weather continues. In fact, reinforced cold air coming in to especially the northern plains. Probably won't have any impact on agriculture, but it will have an impact on your gardens. But the general cool weather pattern will have an impact if it doesn't warm up. In combination with the cold weather is a generally dry weather pattern, and those two things working in tandem work okay together. But that may change eventually. I'll explain. Starting off tonight with the Palmer Index of Drought Severity, and this is an index of the deep moisture profile, so it doesn't necessarily reflect the top inch or so of soil. It's the deep moisture profile, but you get the picture by looking at the categories here. We're basically pegged in the wettest category over southern North Dakota, all of South Dakota, many other areas of the northern plains. However, the Corn Belt is more just sort of favorably moist in most areas right now, and that's a fairly important distinction. But here in the northern plains, especially the Dakotas, it's just way too wet, except near the Canadian border, where it is a little bit less so. And the weather continues to be fairly cool. The combination of cool weather with wet soil means we're not getting as much evaporation, so the soils that are wet tend to stay wet. And it looks like that trend will continue for a while. The really chilly weather of the weekend will continue into the early part of this week. It does look like as we get past the mid part of the week, the chilly chilly weather, and by that I mean the highs are only in the 40s and 50s. Those are going to scoot back up into Canada, and we're going to see some 60s returning to the northern plains. 70s, even some 80s will start getting into the southern part of the Corn Belt. A lot of the deep south will heat up pretty nicely, but we're not going to see a lot of that really hot weather move much further to the north. Moving into the second week, there will be a slight shift again southward of the cooler temperatures. I don't think it'll be as cold. Now we're talking 17th through 23rd of May, but still a relatively cool to mild pattern as the southern half of the country begins to heat up fairly normally. Rain showers, there will be an area of rain this week, very likely affecting the area around Iowa to about Lake Michigan. Other than that, the East Coast looks quite dry. Northern plains, maybe a shower or two, maybe one day with rainfall, but it doesn't look heavy. The second week of the period now, the 17th through 23rd of May, kind of the same area with the focus of heavier rain dropping further south. But again, in the northern plains where it continues to be dry, I just don't see a lot of precipitation. What'll be interesting is as we get on into high summer, if we continue with this dry weather pattern, that wet soil will start to evaporate in the heat of summer, and we'll start to be needing some rainfall if we don't start see some changes in the precip patterns.
At Superior Grain Equipment, we're committed to quality and service, offering you the best in grain storage and dryers for any size operation. Our experts will work with you to determine the most efficient and economical storage solution for your needs. We help protect your bottom line and your future with the industry's best bins and warranties. Make the superior choice for protection today and tomorrow with Superior Grain Equipment.
Luckin Trucks and Parts sells quality used parts for all makes and models. With over 50 acres of trucks and parts and new inventory arriving daily. Family owned and operated since 1966, Luckin's specializes in the sale of quality used medium to heavy duty truck parts as well as pre-owned trucks, trailers, and construction equipment. If it's on a truck, we got it. Call us today and let us get you your part.
2020 has started off where 2019 left off, with a lot of uncertainty and concern. Is your farming operation ready to take the volatility this year has to offer? Do you have a marketing plan in place to take advantage of opportunity? Are you finding it hard to separate the noise from the news? Talk to the professionals at Martins & Ag. We can help you make sound risk management decisions that will help your operation survive during these unusual times.
When planting season comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. This spring, keep your planters rolling with a user-friendly seed tender from Northstar Ag. We have seed tenders for every size operation from Meridian, Unverferth, and J&M. Northstar Ag also sells a variety of Valmar spreaders, the leader in air boom delivery. Uptime is crucial. Keep your crew in the field longer with a fuel trailer from Thunder Creek. Visit NorthstarAg.com to see our complete new and used inventory or give us a call.
AgWeek brings you timely agriculture news from field to fork in digital, print, and television. Fresh every week, join Jenny Schlecht from the AgWeek editorial team and me, Al Windmill, from the sales and marketing team for a deeper dive into farm and ranch stories, along with guest interviews with personalities from the world of agriculture. If you're involved in farming, ranching, or agribusiness, the AgWeek podcast is the show for you.
Russia and Ukraine have announced plans to curb their grain exports, including wheat and sunflowers. They're two of the world's largest producers and exporters of the two crops. However, the pandemic is causing them to limit exports to protect their domestic food industries. That could mean some additional exports for the U.S., which has propped up sunflower prices recently. The head of the National Sunflower Association says it's currently making international buyers pretty nervous, and it could be a short-term opportunity for American farmers.
If anything, it's going to really underpin our prices here. We're going to stay very competitive as we go forward into the summer. And, we had a smaller crop than what we had intended in 2019, what the industry was hoping for. So if anything, this is going to really ramp up, considerations for 2020 crop. So it's kind of exciting for us. It's some good opportunity.
South Dakota leads the nation in sunflower production, and North Dakota is second. The planting season is underway, and proper machinery maintenance is important to avoid breakdowns. Cenex lubricants expert Mimi Falkman recommends greasing equipment before heading into fields and reapplying often during planting. This is one of the easiest ways to prolong the life of the components, handling a lot of the pressure during planting, and keep equipment operating smoothly.
If you have a well-rounded maintenance program, you're able to actually increase your efficiencies when you're out in the field and make sure that you can make the most out of that time and focus on either getting the plant in or the plant out, which is what you should be doing instead of worrying about your pieces of equipment.
Not all greases are compatible. She advises taking a picture of the grease you're using to get the right one when restocking. You can also check Cenex.com. Still ahead, a big thanks from our AgWeek family to yours.
Growing up as a kid, Gateway was always the grain bin building and the grain handling people that were out in our area. One of the reasons we chose to go with Gateway was they're the leader in the industry and they are the #1 Brock dealer in the United States. We've really liked the Brock design and some of the designs that Gateway has come up with throughout the years. My best advice would be to just put your trust in them and let them come up with the design that's going to fit your needs.
We have products that no other companies have. That gives us a bit of an advantage and a bit of an edge, and it provides some security to our customer base that we've been here, we're here to stay, and we want to still provide these new innovations to the customers today. It's cold granulated products where we're putting together multiple nutrients. We've got products in our Micro Essentials lineup that contain sulfur and zinc, and we also have products on our potash side which contain boron, which is a newer product for us, which is called Aspire.
When the water's high and your yields are low, 'cause your fields have no place for water to flow, just one call takes care of it all. Call on Field Drainage Incorporated. Call on Field Drainage Incorporated. Call on Field Drainage. The experts in the field.
Big Boy Toys. DTE.
Remember, for all your ag news, go to AgWeek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Challenging times in agriculture have been made even more difficult with COVID-19. So we at AgWeek TV want to offer you our thanks, support, and encouragement. We'll continue to work to bring you the information you need to make your operation successful, and we thank you, our viewers, and our sponsors for being there for us as well. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll see you next week.